Welcome back, everyone. We're here with Tom Ryan, fireman, patriot, head of the Local 2 for a number of years and a good friend of mine. Tom, one of the things I want to talk about is the Gold Badge Society.
Mm-hmm.
Could you tell us about the Gold Badge Society?
Gold Badge Society was founded in 1991 by Eileen Cotlanese and the families of fallen firefighters as a way to remember and to support the families, to bring that support to those that have endured, those families that have endured such a horrific loss. Unfortunately, Eileen just passed away recently, but her work carries on. Eileen may have been small in stature, but she was the biggest person in the room. Committed when she came. She was committed, and I'm telling you, what a wonderful lady.
And you have to deal when like I dealt with Gold Star family members.
Mm-hmm.
I dealt with the military, the veterans, the police, the fire, the paramedics, and people never forget. And it's up to us to keep remembering
Mm-hmm.
the men and women that died fighting fires or fighting a war, or
Yes.
police officers or paramedics that died defending us. And I think sometimes that we take it for granted.
Oh, do we ever take it for granted? I'll be honest with you, and I'm going to go out on a limb here. To see what's happening, the disgrace that's happening with people taking a knee during the national anthem, turning their backs on the flag, saying that they're offended by the American flag. Where else in the world can you have that kind of opinion, voice that opinion, and not be either put in jail or some other harsh penalty put your way for speaking your mind? This is the only country in the world. Do we have our warts? Do we have our problems? Yes, we do. But I'd rather never live anywhere else. And I think you can ask most of the people in the world where they'd rather live. I think they'd rather live here.
I'm glad you brought that up. You know how I feel about the American flag. Ever since I've been a kid, and I respect the country, respect the flag. I can't, look, people want to kneel, they can kneel. That's their business. I don't agree with it. I think it's wrong. I think it's uncalled for. It's disrespecting the memory of all those who died. Now, when a fireman dies, their caskets are covered with the American flag.
Correct.
Am I correct?
That is correct.
Right. This is what they call a piece of cloth. And that's so terrible. It is so wrong that people do that. And I couldn't disagree with them more.
To me, I saw a picture that was sent to me by a friend just the other day of the 13 servicemen and women that were killed by the bomber in Taliban. And I said to myself, I would love to see the likes of Colin Kaepernick or Megan Rapinoe or all the other big anti-flag people take a knee here. Take a knee here. I dare you. Take a knee. It sickens me to see what's going on here. It absolutely sickens me.
I mean, when I picture the American flag, I picture, as a Marine, Iwo Jima. I picture 9/11. Am I right with the firemen that were out there? That
Jim, I didn't know it at the time, but I know now, that I picked up pieces of dead Americans with my bare hands and put them in buckets and moved them because somebody attacked them for being American. Okay? I will never, you may feel that they have the right. I don't think they have the right to take a knee. I don't think they do, because they live here. If you don't want to live here, get out.
I couldn't agree more with that statement. As I said, where do you see people? This is the only country that people fight to get into.
Absolutely.
And if you want to leave, you can leave at any time.
Please tell me why 2 million people have streamed across our southern border if this is such a horrible place. Please explain that to me.
Well, and here's my other thing. If it's so terrible, why aren't there boatloads of people leaving? Why aren't they going back? Why do they all want to come here? Why? That's one thing.
Why, Jim? I'll tell you exactly. Because they're all hypocrites. They love everything about America, all the freedom that America gives them, but then they want to complain. They want to complain because it's not good enough.
I can't. It's so hard. And the people you mentioned, the soccer player and the Kaepernick and Rapinoe, they're millionaires. They've got money. Where can you make that kind of money outside of the United States?
I mean, go and ask a kid who's living in Laos or Sudan or something, would you like to come to the United States? I guarantee you 99 out of 100 would say tomorrow.
Oh, without a doubt.
So, I mean, yes, we have our problems, and I'm not going to sugarcoat that.
Yeah.
But it's still the greatest country in the world.
I couldn't agree more.
Still the greatest country in the world.
And again, Tom, it's defended by people serving in the military that have served, police, fire, and paramedic, like yourself, that have served, protected, put out these horrific fires, and 9/11, picking up bones of people that had been killed. I wonder what they would think if they had to do it.
First of all, they never would do it.
Yeah.
That's number one.
Yeah.
Usually the loudest complainers are the ones that do the least.
Yeah.
I found that in my experience.
So,
But the whole thing comes down to this. America is an experiment. It's been an experiment for 300 years. Is it a perfect experiment? No, it is not. But I gotta tell you, there's nowhere in the world where a person who's born from nothing can make themselves something better than here. There's no place in this earth.
People that come here that have made it, that came here in dire poverty, but yet made it. Tell me another country where you can do that.
My father-in-law got off the boat from Sicily with his 4 brothers and his mother, and they ended up in the United States. They had nothing. They came here. They were sponsored. They ended up staying in Kewanee, Illinois, of all places. But guess what? Back in those days, you had to have a sponsor. It wasn't the government's job to make sure that you did it. It was your sponsor's job, and you had to go out. And Aldo is one of the greatest men I've ever met. My father-in-law, he loves America. I mean, he came here because America offered him an opportunity he wouldn't have had in Sicily. And all of his brothers are successes. He has successful children. They've raised great families. Hey, he gave me my wife. We're great.
I mean, you could come here from have nothing and make yourself into something.
Absolutely. And it just really hurts. I mean, listen, I don't want to sweep problems under the rug. I never have. I've always faced them head on. But if you put a pro and con list together, I think the pros far outnumber the cons.
Well, I can just tell you this, as a veteran, knowing the history of the military, we liberated Europe twice, liberated Asia, helped fight back the Nazis, helped fight imperialist Japan. My father-in-law, like your father-in-law, is an Italian-American. He fought in Italy. He fought with the 10th Mountain Division in Italy. He didn't hesitate to go. Him and his brothers all served in the military and fought. His brother Doc was a doctor, and fought in North Africa and Italy. You think about the good things that America has done, you can't go wrong.
No, absolutely.
It never stops. They talk about money, billions and billions of dollars that we spent.
And you know what? Most people don't care about spending money if it actually helps other people.
I know. I feel the same way. The taxpayers in our country. Tom, it's been an honor and a privilege to have you here. Contained somewhat because I know you quite well. But talking about 9/11, I think, is so important. As we now close in on the 20th anniversary of 9/11, I want everyone to stop, pause for a moment, think about all those that have died in 9/11, the terrorist attack. Think about those who went there, part of the rescue operation, and have subsequently died, as you said. To think about them and to think about how great our nation is and how great the people are that live here, and what a great country we live in. As I always say, God bless America, Semper Fi, and please do not forget to fly the American flag.